Hey, welcome back to Unity TV. Today we continue with our series with our third interview. Let's introduce today's guest. He's a local defender from Langley, BC. Has played for clubs in Canada, including TSS Rovers, and clubs in Denmark, and played as your number 23 for Unity FC. Let's jump right into our sit down with Elie Gindo. Joining me now, I'm with Elie Gindo of Unity FC, a current midfielder, number 23, playing this current season with Unity FC. Welcome to the show, Elie.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
So let's just start with how you got into football. What was your biggest memory that you remember of as a fan that really just got you excited about football? You're like, oh, I really got to play this game.
I think one of my first memories was I was being young. My dad played a lot, so I used to play with him in the backyard and at school and stuff. And then when I was about 9 years old, I was a ball boy for a Trinity Western University game. And we were walking around the pitch. We got to see warm up. I got to walk the players out. And then after the game, I went to the change room, and Diaz Cambier was on the team at the time. And I thought it was super cool. I was a striker at the time. I didn't play right back, and he was playing right back that game. But I thought it was awesome, and got to meet the players. Got them to sign me some autographs for me, and then kind of from that point, I was like, I just loved playing. I wanted to play. I wanted to play on that field specifically, and it started the journey for me.
That's very amazing. You talk about your journey as well. You started at Trinity Western as a student and played for at least 4 or 5 years, if I recall. Talk about that journey you went from going from Trinity Western and playing locally, and then even going abroad as well.
Yeah, it was good because I was just playing youth, and then I got recruited to go play at Trinity, and I spent 5 years there. It was a lot of growth, a lot of learning while I was playing there. And then right in my final year, the CPL started. So I was trying to try out for that team. So I went to the open trials in Victoria, and then I went to training camp with Pacific FC for a week or two. I was unable to make the team there. So I came back home, we started playing local men's league. And then during COVID, I was just playing, I was just working out, just training by myself. I got an opportunity to go to Denmark. So I went to Denmark for about a year. And it was definitely a growing experience. I was there by myself, learning a lot of different things, but it was enjoyable. I learned a lot. It was a completely different lifestyle, completely different system. It was nice just to play footy just all day, every single day. And once that year was done, I came back to Canada and just restarted the life and then played Unity over the summer.
Well, you also talked about Unity, and you went through an amazing journey to be able to go to Denmark. It sounds like a great experience. Talk about how you kind of got reconnected to Unity, the local club in Langley, because if I recall, correct me if I'm wrong, you had the previous coach of Trinity Western also be the head coach of Unity. Can you talk about was that the main connection, or was there something else that brought you to Unity?
Yeah. Mike was the head coach at Trinity. He was assistant when I went there. He was the one who recruited me the most. Talked to my parents, and he also coached me in U17 as well for half a season. And Mike I have a lot of respect for Mike. Mike's a big mentor of mine. And once I knew that League One was coming around and that Unity was going to have a team and Mike was going to be the coach, there was only one team I was gonna play for, and that was Unity. So that was that connection.
There's a lot of memories that people generate when being part of clubs, different experiences. In your career as a whole, what is your biggest memory that you've taken away? Not only just in specific professional football you play, but also with Unity as well. What is the biggest thing you've really grown, and what your favorite experience, whether it's a personal experience or a fan experience, what would be the biggest one that really stuck out to you the most?
It's usually winning. that's probably the biggest memory. I think I could probably give a couple. At Trinity to start, I think it was my last year. We had to play Alberta in the Canada West semifinals, and they were the defending national champions, and we beat them at UBC, which was good. And that was in overtime. That was a crazy experience. Also, maybe making my debut in Denmark. That was a good experience as well. I came on I think it was like in March, and played about the last like 15, 20 minutes. That was a big deal as well. And then for Unity, maybe like this year, the first game that I played this year, because I was hurt at the beginning of the season. And when we played, I think it was Rivers in Chilliwack, and Victory had like 4 or 5 goals. Like, he had an unbelievable game. That's probably the biggest Unity memory that I have, because it was big. It was a lot of fun. It was warm, the big crowd out, and we played really well. And so that's probably the biggest memory then for Unity.
It's also a great moment because if I recall correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that you had a goal there as well for yourself. Was that game as well, or was there another game that you had?
That was not the game, no. I think I got an assist. I think I headed it back across and somebody scored, but I didn't get a goal that game, no.
Okay. I believe it was another
the year
game
before I scored a few goals.
Yeah. But it's always really great to see it because, like, you are like a central midfielder, so it's not like you're known for being like the striker. You're not the main guy, but you're like the main artery in the midfield to like set the pace and get things going. It's always great to see when people are involved and be part of that experience.
Yeah. I have played more center back since this. So at Trinity, I played a lot of center mid, but now that I'm at Unity, I played a lot of center back. So sometimes I moved up, but I've mostly played center back.
Has that been like an easy experience for you transitioning? Because sometimes people are very set in very much what their role is, and sometimes transitioning can be challenging. Do you find that was easier for you in this experience?
It wasn't too bad. I think my biggest thing was that I wanted to play, and I will do whatever it takes to get myself on the field, whether that is doing more of the defensive work. So I understood at a pretty young age that like I cared more about playing than where I played. So being versatile, being able to play on different areas of the pitch, like I played everywhere. I played left back, I played right back, played center back, played striker, played center mid, played right mid. Like, I've literally played everywhere on the pitch. So being versatile makes it easier to transition. But now that I've kind of locked into playing more defensive, I've now taken ownership of that role in that position. So it's easy now, but starting off it wasn't as easy.
I can imagine for that as well. It's actually very fascinating. Like, so your main takeaway to go to Unity was because of Mike. What's your experience has been with Unity, coming back to the Langley of your hometown? I believe is like that is what you consider your hometown, right? That's correct. What is that? How important is that to play for your local club that just started a couple years ago?
I think it is quite important. I want to be able to give back. Like, I played for Langley United like my entire youth career, and being able to see playing in Unity now, and then seeing these kids that play for Langley as well, and then walking them out, because I was in that position and I was looking up to like older people and I had no idea who they were, but like walking out with them, I was like, this is so cool. And so to be on the other side of that now, I want to be able to show kids or want kids to aspire to continue to play soccer and continue to play football. And I love Langley. Like, I live in Aldergrove now, and I would love to put my roots down here permanently. Obviously, it's expensive, but yeah, I think it is quite important, especially when you've been around here. I moved here when I was 4, and I'm almost 28. I'm in 28 in a month, so that's 24 years of my life that I've spent in Langley. So it's got deep roots with me.
The biggest lesson, a lot of players get a lot of life lessons, a lot of things that you learn either on the pitch, off the pitch, whether if it's like recently or if it's like very early in their careers. What is the biggest life lesson that you kind of have taken from being part of Unity this year?
I think just being comfortable with the journey and trying to be a leader. I think being one of the older players, there's a lot of young guys on the team, and they're in their 3rd and 4th years of university, that I have to lead by example and try and help them out and try and be a positive influence on them. And I wasn't around as much as I wanted to have been this year, but still, we know what, like, showing up to the pitch and putting the work ethic in and proving why, like, you're still playing is because, there's a lot of, they're probably fitter than I am. They run around. They have a lot more time on their hands. So they have to touch them, play the ball all the time. So making sure that when I come to the pitch that I'm mentally prepared every single day and that I'm doing the right things so that they can see a good example as well.
If there's one thing that you mentioned, that being older gentlemen on the pitch, is there something that you like to always give back to the current and future UFC players? Like, what's the biggest advice that you would always give to them that you wish you were told when you were that young?
The importance of communication. I think a lot of them are just too quiet, and you have to be able to talk. And I learned that pretty early, that you have to talk and you have to be able to communicate to make sure everyone's on the same page. And if you don't talk, you don't communicate, you're gonna have problems. And we need to have everyone on the same page. So yeah, that's one thing that like I almost over communicate sometimes, just to make sure that everyone's like doing it correctly. So you need to make sure that everyone knows that we all have to communicate. It's not just one guy.
Now, I also know that there are clubs that people aspire to always like look after. This is like, oh, this is like my favorite player. This is my favorite like football club. What would be your favorite player that you're like that inspired you and were just like, oh, if there was anyone I can meet, I would love to meet this person? Who is like your top of the league person you like to meet?
I think my favorite player is Rafael Varane. He plays for Manchester United now. He used to play for Real Madrid, and I always had a lot of respect for him because he always put his best foot forward, was a baller when he played, but he was kind of a little bit under the radar at times. And I like the fact that he could go out, do his job every single day at a high level, and no one would really talk about him. And so that's probably like the guy that I liked a lot. And then when I was still a midfielder, I really liked Paul Pogba because he was just unbelievable. Things that he could do with the ball, with his passing range and all that was just unbelievable.
Is there a specific club that you support outside of Canadian football or inside Canadian football? Is there ones that you typically like to cheer for as a fan?
Yeah, Manchester United. That's probably my number one team. Unfortunately, they're not very good right now. Tough result today. And then I also like watching Real Madrid and Borussia Dortmund. Those are my kind of my top three clubs.
That's actually really great. I know there's a lot of people. I'm going to follow back a little bit more back to Langley for a little bit. There's a lot of people in the community of Langley who really appreciate football. The fact that Vancouver FC is now in the area. Now Unity FC is also in the area as well. How important is football to be part of the community? And like, what is the big symbolism to having football locally in the township of Langley?
I think it is important. I think like a lot of things, like Vancouver has a lot of stuff. So they got the Lions, they got the Canucks, they got the Whitecaps, and that's good for the other side of the bridge. But on this side of the bridge, like I think having that local club and local team is quite important because I think a lot of people would support, and if they had a connection to it. And I think Vancouver FC has the potential to be a super like. There's a lot of people in that area, and they have the potential to be really, really big if they do it correctly. And yeah, that's kind of my thought process, because I think it'd be really cool. Like based off the players that are on they could be on the team, like they could bring fans out like all over the shop. Like it's kind of empty, but I think they have potential to be really big.
Well, it's also great, like talk about with memories with fans and like having great experiences. Is there something that really stuck out to you when interacting with fans this season with Unity and the local community of Langley?
I think it's just good always like seeing the kids, seeing people that like I recognize just from being around in Langley, and then seeing them bring their kids to games, and then recognizing kids that I might have coached like back at Langley. Just those little interactions, those hello, how's it going, and then seeing parents like being super happy and then taking pictures of their kids, like those are kind of the things that bring me joy. And then just little kids asking for autographs, like it's always like it's almost like why would they ask me for an autograph? It's always like a cool experience. But yeah, just love seeing people and seeing kids enjoy the game.
Well, I'm really glad that we were able to get to know you as a player and as a person, and hope you'll be able to have a great season as off season, and we'll catch up to you. Thanks so much for being part of this conversation.
Thank you for having me. Hope you got something positive out of it. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like what you saw, give it a big old thumbs up for us, and make sure to follow us on our other socials right here. See you next time.